it Biden Trump time? Because I mean, the Wall Street Journal's just put the whole thing up. So wait, how does it work though? Was it just that you couldn't watch it live? Can you watch it not live now that it's done? There's the full thing, which is an hour and 30, or there's the must-watch moments, which are half an hour. I'm talking about reacting on stream. You were not allowed to watch it live on stream. CNN were smashing people who tried that. I don't think we need the whole thing. It's a fucking disaster, man. Basically, Biden has shown his age. He has massively shown his age throughout the entire debate. Even at the end, he was about to start pulling off a decent closing statement, and then he started stumbling again. He hasn't seemed to forget his facts. The problem is he was spitting out too many figures and facts. Like, he gave the vibe of like a beginner high school debater who over prepares on the research, but doesn't really think at all about rhetoric or presentation, and just rattles off A, B, C, D, E, F, G of facts that like doesn't really sink into anyone. Like, they're not considering how much the audience is going to absorb. They're not thinking about clippable moments or quips or anything like that. That felt like what he was doing. And then obviously, because I think he was under pressure to keep on remembering all that stuff, and he's old as fuck, his stutter started and then it started carrying on. So it's like, I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. I feel like Biden, of all people, with all the people surrounding him, would know that you really want to, in this debate, just come up with a couple of quips. You have your talking point, your quips, and then just fire off and say it boldly. Okay, let's just watch it. Okay, let's see. Oh, first of all, people are going to be saying that Biden should step down. And I'm told you, I'll tell you again, I'm making a rule in this chat. If you want to say Biden steps down, you have to say who should stand in his place, okay? Because right now, there's no one. Incumbent advantage is still like a huge consideration, even if he's mental. There's no one else. There's no Kamala Harris. No, she's considered way too progressive by the centrists and the right wingers. She's a black woman, obviously. That's like three. It's the holy trinity of divisiveness. Michelle Obama, maybe. I mean, she's got 2 points of the holy trinity of divisiveness. Again, she's not going to do it though. She's not interested, I don't think. Rishi Sunak, yeah, well. Jeb Bush, nah. Hillary Clinton, well, wait a minute. Hillary. Hillary. Listen, bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Hillary Clinton is, she's humbled. She's no longer the out-of-touch coastal elite. She lost the last election to Trump. She's humbled. She's back for round 2, like Rocky. She's the underdog. Hillary! And she's white. Okay. Anyway. No, basically, also, okay, all the Gavin in chat. Okay, listen, Gavin, assemble. This is what Gavin Newsom looks like. This is your first argument. I, a Scottish person who comments on American politics more than 99% of Scottish people, I did not know what Gavin Newsom looked like until right now. Is this Gavin Newsom? I might have even mistaken. I might not know. I might have, this might be the guy who introduces Gavin Newsom. I don't know. Let's see.
You were out there getting a chorus of questions about whether Biden should step down. There is panic that has set in. There is panic that has set in among people who have.
Oh, he's good. I can tell. I can tell why people like this guy. He's like if you had to draw a charismatic Democrat politician.
Watch this debate, who are Democrats, people who are strategists, and some even inside Democratic camps.
If you asked AI to create slick, charismatic Democrat, you would get this guy.
Yeah. Do you think it's unfounded?
Well, I think it's unhelpful, and I think it's unnecessary. We've got to go in and got to keep our heads high. And as I say, we've got to have the back of this president. You don't turn your back because of one performance.
Ooh.
What kind of party does that? It's been a masterclass. 15.6 million jobs. That's 8 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined. The only thing the last 3 Republican presidents have in common is recessions. Democrats deliver. This president has delivered. We need to deliver for him at this moment. With all due respect, the more time we start having these conversations, go down these rabbit holes, it's unhelpful to our democracy, our fate and future of this country, the world. They need us right now to step up, and that's exactly what I intend to do.
You were out there getting a...
God damn it. This guy. I like him. There you go. Take the marching orders, Democrats. What kind of party does that? What kind of Lonerbox chat? What kind of Hezboxla cell gives up on Joe Biden after one poor performance? Who does that? Also, Gavin knows. Gavin knows this is not his time. He knows he's still percolating. He pulls like 17 points behind Trump. I don't know why you guys think this is a good idea to get him in now. He's doing the best he can do. He's excelling in his current position. Anyway, Nasrallah should run instead of Biden. Hassan Nasrallah. He does have a bit of a speech impediment. And Hezbollah are very popular on American campuses. So, okay. Biden.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Forgetting college kids don't vote. Bro, college kids would be out en masse if Nasrallah was running for president. Isn't that a funny thought? I'm just saying, Colombia would be awash with voting registration. Okay, anyway.
Folks, how are you?
We should have known with that that approach. It's like he's approaching the fucking guillotine.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond.
God, he looks fucking terrified. I didn't even notice that this was the beginning. I didn't see the beginning. Oh God, he looks like he's ready to either deliver the most fucking bam battle rap fucking retort to every question, or he just looks scared. Okay, I never actually saw the beginning. How apparent was it from the get-go? Oh no.
This question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one.
Damn!
Number two.
So this is the thing, the number one, number two. No one needs number two. This is American politics, you fucking idiots. I don't know why. Who the fuck prepped him with number one, number two bullshit? This is an American audience, okay? What you do is you take the same point and then you hammer it and then you hammer it. That's your rule of three. You make the same point 3 times, okay? 1, you make the point. 2, you hammer it in. And then 3, you leave with a quip. All right.
That $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million.
No one cares, man. This is, fuck, you know what? This reminds me of how I talk. When I explain shit to you guys, I like my details, okay? Because you guys care, and you guys will rewind and watch again if you don't know what the fuck I'm saying, because you're all really clever and thorough. But this is, no one cares about 24, 25. What the fuck? Just pick a number and say it. Oh, God.
$1 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with
Trump knows. Trump smells blood. Glitterbell, thanks for the raid. I really appreciate it. Hope you had a good stream. Trump knows. This is where Trump smells blood. That's all. Oh, no. Oh, God.
If we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. No. They're putting them on...
Matrix Dawn, thanks for the $2. Boxbullah Allah Assad is my favorite YouTuber. Nice. Partial Pressure, thanks for the $4.99. Sorry, Boxerites. I'm going to start watching Tim Pool so the Gestapo won't get me when Trump starts the purges. It's Jover. Listen, you guys, this problem with you guys is you're all fucking debate bros. You're all you're debate terrorists, okay? No one in America cares as much about debates as you guys do. And now apparently the right-wingers care because finally the debate gets to be their like fucking nail in the coffin for Biden's old age. So at the end of the day, the average American voter is not going to give a fuck in 2 weeks about this. Now, the next debate might matter. If he does this for 3 debates, there's a problem, okay? Big problem.
Social Security, they're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people, they cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so,
Bro, that's like 10 million people.
how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world.
Fucking
And it had a
face.
huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because
I love it that there's like, I've noticed that there are maybe 3 fucking Trump tards who have jumped in to chat to say that this is cope, that what I've said so far is cope. I don't think people know what coping is. It's really funny to see that like right-wingers trying to understand in America what coping is. Sorry, every Democrat, even hardline Democrats or like Biden stands, not let alone other leftists, I've been pretty critical of Biden's approach. Like everyone agrees that Biden did horribly here. That, and not even that, people are even saying, even the ones who think that Biden at least made his points and all this shit, they're more or less like still unanimous that that doesn't matter. That like the debate is like optics is what matters, and Biden fucked it, and the Biden's too old, and it's a real embarrassment that in the United States, out of 330 plus million people, this is all we have. I feel like most people I've seen, almost all of them are unanimous on that. Coping is what fucking Trump supporters do when Trump loses an election. That's coping. Coping is what happens when Trump lies about a fucking 1,000 things a year, when he smashes the fucking fact check button like a fucking nuclear bomb and just fucking scuttles through every piece of disinformation. What coping is when Trump claims to have run a really great economy when all he did was fucking deficit spend and give tax breaks to the fucking ultra rich and do nothing else. Coping is when Biden manages to produce more fucking manufacturing or like industrial jobs than Trump does. Coping is when fucking Trump has to be the first president running to get reelected again when he's a fucking criminal. Jesus Christ. All right, fuck me. It's funny that Democrats and leftists have ceded more ground on this debate than Trump supporters have ceded in the entire fucking, I mean, all of Trump's entire career, even before he ran for president. Oh, well.
His ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and they just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is.
You only ceded because Biden was humiliated in front of billions of people in the last 6 months. You guys have been coping that it's just a stutter. I don't think I've ever said it's just a stutter. I think I've always said, you don't even know who the fuck I am. Why are you coming into my chat? I'm sorry, I think, what the fuck's going on? I thought there might have been regular viewers coming in here who would apparently know that I've been shitting on the American presidential candidates for the last fucking 8 years, let alone 4. I feel like you'd know. What's happening? Is there just a bunch of fucking Trump dick suckers who are just going around looking for every progressive or left-leaning channel that they can find to say, coping, like, what the fuck are you talking about? I live in the United Kingdom, okay? Where our politicians can string sentences together and tell the truth at the same time. Okay, I'm sorry. Just fucking... Oh, God. Let me see. Let the cope flow through you. Where's that got in your country? Britain is fucking stable right now. I mean, inflation's been an issue. Otherwise, we've had no attempted coups. No convicted criminals running for office. We had a Trump, Boris Johnson. He got fucked off. I'm pretty sure most voters both see Trump and Biden as too mentally unfit to run for office. You know that, right? You know that that more than half of Americans also think Trump is too fucking retarded to be a president as well. And that's Americans, okay? If only Bernie was running. True.
Is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in. And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance.
Oh yeah, the PACT Act. Didn't I take that down? I think I spoke about this on Progressive Victory, didn't I? Navy veteran Paul Lloyd said the PACT Act is one of the most influential bills to affect veterans in probably the last 75 years. I think it expanded benefits to certain categories that were overlooked before. Which ones were they again? I forget. Oh, expanding the number of medical conditions to do, people who were exposed to burn pits and herbicides. Because this was like a really common thing for people who were serving in Iraq, I think. I can't remember where, but yeah, so they basically expanded the PACT Act to cover people, especially like particular medical conditions that were disproportionately affecting veterans from different parts of the Middle East. Yeah. Bipartisan. Damn. That's also another thing as well. It's like, as far as was it Desert Storm? Okay.
And their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in...
The content of what Biden said during the debate wasn't bad. It was the delivery. Cope. That sounds like a cope to me. Did I just hear a cope? Okay. All right.
In France.
So I'm just trying to, you have to know the enemy to combat it. I'm just trying to understand what it's like to be a Trump supporter.
D-Day. Okay. And I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. This is great. This is really good content. This is worth losing the election, isn't it? All right.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up.
Pretty sure this is, I'm pretty sure this has been corroborated by more than one source, hasn't it? Was it John F. Kelly? Let's see. Hang on. Here's a breakdown of the quotations. Yeah, how many people were there? Was it people who were there? The 19 people? Hang on. Here's the Atlantic article about it. Trump said Americans who died in war are losers and suckers, repeatedly disparaged the intelligence of service members, and asked that wounded veterans be kept out of military parades. Okay. When President Trump canceled a visit to the Iron American Cemetery near Paris, he blamed rain for the last-minute decision, saying that the helicopter couldn't fly and that the Secret Service wouldn't drive him there. Neither claim was true. Okay. Trump rejected the idea of the visit because he feared his hair would become disheveled in the rain and because he did not believe it important to honor American war dead, according to 4 people with first-hand knowledge of the discussion that day. In a conversation with senior staff members on the morning of the scheduled visit, Trump said, "Why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers." In a separate conversation on the same trip, Trump referred to more than 1,800 Marines who lost their lives at Belleau Wood as suckers for getting killed. Consequential battle in American history, the ground on which it was fought is venerated by the Marine Corps, America, and its allies stopped the German advance towards Paris in the spring of 1918. Okay. But Trump, on the same trip, asked aides who were the good guys in this war. He also said he didn't understand why the United States would intervene on the side of the Allies. What the fuck? Trump's understanding of concepts such as patriotism, service, and sacrifice has interested me since he expressed contempt for the war record of the late Senator John McCain, who spent more than 5 years as a prisoner of the North Vietnamese. Yep, he's not a war hero because I like people. Yeah, well, I said this on camera, so he's not denying this one. So which 19 people were there? Okay. But that's the whole part when he talks about suckers and losers. Senior staff members in the morning. Okay.
By him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking, it's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it. Period. That's number one.
Yeah.
And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history.
Okay, yeah,
American
repeat a talking
history.
point.
And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing.
He keeps on adding things. Like, I feel like any of these stops, once you've got to stop, just take the stop and go. All right, come on, Joe. Come on. It's
more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its 3rd year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms...
You know what? It's not only Biden's performance. Someone told Trump to keep calm during this debate, to just chill. Because when people think of Trump now, especially over the last year, it's been criminal charges, behaving in contempt of court, things like that. So his way of getting around that is just to be collected. And he's actually done quite well at that.
Acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as...
Oh, God. Oh, it looks so weird. What the fuck? Oh, no.
Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
If we had a real president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love lost, but he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind, too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration.
The actual fuck. What the fuck? Oh, God. Why? Okay. Hang on. Ref Top, thanks for the $9.99. After this, you should look into the Supreme Court ruling, Chevron this morning. It's the biggest decision since they overturned Roe v. Wade and could decimate our federal agencies and regulations. Okay, maybe I will. Donnie Skater, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that. Where's the lies? I don't think Hamas got... Wait, hang on. I don't know why people think Hamas gets like the majority of the means that they need for terror from Iran. I don't know why he's saying that. Do we know that? I thought one of the big issues with Hamas was Qatari money as well. And not to mention just aid money that they're able to repurpose for their military means. Let's see. U.S. official in counterterrorism estimated the bulk of Hamas's budget of more than $300 million came from taxes on business, as well as from countries including Iran and Qatar or charities. Didn't the March of Return happen under Trump? Yeah, it did, yeah. Okay. We don't even know if Iran was behind October 7th. We don't know.
This
What?
place, the whole world
So
is blowing
stupid.
up under him.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last point first.
Okay.
Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president, they attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when they attacked.
What was this? This the when was this? Was this 2019 in Iraq and Syria? But he killed Soleimani. Was this before or after this attack? Hang on. Because the Soleimani attack was January 2020. But I feel like was there a strike after that? I don't actually know. Oh no, wait. No, the attack was in January. The attack from Iran towards America was in January. When was Soleimani killed? Soleimani was killed 3rd of January. So the attack was afterwards. So Iran counterattacked after. They responded after Soleimani was killed. Because it was called Operation Martyr Soleimani. 110 US personnel wounded. Yeah. So what did Trump do after this? Is this what he's saying Trump didn't respond to? Nothing. Uh-oh. Damn. That's a lot of malarkey. Matty Barat, thanks for the $1.99. Check out Alan Lichtman's analysis on the debate. Okay.
That took place, number one. Number two, we got over.
I love it. This is the copium. Oh, God. Fuck me. I don't know why I've not been exposed to the fucking Trump supporters for so long.
100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did. To
Putin, he means. Oh, no, he did it twice.
Putin encouraged him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish, Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
Former President.
I think would Biden not want to mention that it's because of Republicans that Ukraine isn't getting all the aid that they need from the United States. That Democrats put through aid packages to Ukraine and Republicans said no to it. Okay.
President Trump,
I never said that.
For 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war,
get it
he
back
led
on
everybody along.
Get it back on point.
He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him.
I think Lend-Lease in today's terms would be like 700 billion or some shit, but okay.
I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying The money that we're spending on this war, and we should.
Oh, is it even 200? Hang on. How much aid has USA given to Ukraine since the war? So there's different numbers. This is 175 billion. This is 107 billion for the government of Ukraine since the invasion. Of all the funding, supplemental appropriations bills, but here it's military assistance 51 billion. Which one of these numbers is it then? Why are they so different? Oh, because a large portion of the money is actually just going to US government activities. So to Ukraine itself, it's 100 billion. Okay. All right.
Shouldn't be spending. It should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being
Keep giving them money, surely they will win. Yes, that's such a good argument. That's what American leftists should have said to fucking Roosevelt in the Second World War. Totally.
killed so needlessly.
The Nazis are smashing the gates of Moscow, and we're like, bro, you can't just throw money at an issue, bro.
So stupidly. And I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
President Biden, you have a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do.
Belarus is oh no. I feel like Belarus is already kind of, it's probably not the best example. Okay. Oh no.
Because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, and by the way, all that money we give Ukraine are from weapons we make here in the United States. We give them the
He meant Belgium. Yeah, Moldova would be a better one because there's already the strip in Transnistria. Okay.
weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Former President Trump, I want to ask you about...
Sure, Belarus is the gem of the NATO alliance, isn't it? Belarus is the front line, the human shield, the secret sleeper NATO cell.
January 6, 2021, after you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes.
Oh, yeah?
As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world.
Let me tell you about the borders. Oh, my God.
Respected.
Fuck me.
And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't.
The border clearly wasn't functioning on Capitol Hill, though, was it? Not least of all because a bunch of because a mob led by a Mexican. Is he Mexican? Isn't the guy who led fucking Proud Boys on January 6th a Hispanic dude? Damn. Trump's so concerned with the southern border, he forgot about the Mexican invasion of the Capitol. He was Cuban. Is Tario Cuban? Okay. Damn. Puerto Rican? Oh, for fuck's even you guys don't know.
And beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi...
Whilst also saying that nothing you do or nothing is going to help to reverse the stealing of American democracy. The media isn't helping. The Supreme Court's not going to help. Other Republicans aren't going to help. Basically giving everyone the perfect constellation of reasons to go and storm the Capitol, but then finally saying, no, peacefully. Just peacefully. You know that advertisers for gambling will say gamble responsibly at the bottom, right? They'll say that. Do you think they want you to gamble responsibly? Do you think it's in their interest that you gamble responsibly? No, fucking isn't. Jesus. Ugh. I love it. Buy our shit. Buy our shit. Be awesome. You'll get hot woman, money. Whoa. Flashy. Roulette wheel. Woo, woo, woo. With the big bucks. Big bucks. Huge titties. Please gamble responsibly. It's like, come on.
See, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor of, in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court. And they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing. And these people should be in jail. And they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President
There's
Biden.
something, okay, that ending when, okay. The only thing people remember is the last part of the sentence, all right? Fuck me. Call him a whiner. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, good. Come on. Stick to it. He needs to, I don't know why no one has used the gambling advert analogy or the alcohol advert analogy.
President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that. They saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing. The Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now, out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots? Come on. When I asked him the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by.
Ooh.
The idea he's refusing, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now?
God, I would just like anyone else. Can you imagine? Even Hillary Clinton. Oh, God. Like, anyone with a bit of projection and flow would just ram him so hard on this because he did it. Like, he incited all this shit because he was upset about the fucking election results. Like, come on, that's the perfect thing to. It's like the easiest dunk on earth. One of his staffers went in front of the fucking committee and said that he threw his fucking nuggies against the wall and left a smear of ketchup on the door. Like, come on. Just sitting there eating fucking nuggies, watching TV. Whilst even Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of the people who was texting him, telling him to call it off. MTG wanted him to stop it, but he didn't. His own fucking daughter. Fuck.
Announce the people who attacked that Capitol. What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been.
I don't know if it's Hunter Biden running for president. Okay.
Been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not
Which
getting.
also everyone in Europe wanted to happen as well. Everyone wanted that prosecutor gone, but okay.
$1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything.
Trump's quid pro quo, just as a refresher, was that he wanted fucking dirt on an oppositional candidate. Okay, compared to what, getting rid of a prosecutor, and that was wait, hang on, what was the nature of the aid that Trump threatened to withhold again? It was military aid, wasn't it? Whilst Russian troops were in the country. So he could get dirt on his political opponent. Was everyone in Europe asking for that as well? Was there like a unanimous belief amongst the rest of Ukraine's allies that they need to get information on Hunter Biden? Okay. Slightly different. Slightly.
We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about?
Why is this the American?
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one.
Okay.
Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very...
Two-time divorce champion Trump. What should it... Oh, God. He should bring out the Hassan tactics. Trump Vorselli. The Donald divorce force.
Terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of.
I think just before this debate, Biden was ahead of Trump in the polls. They were neck and neck for ages, and then Biden went ahead. What's happened now? Has there been a new poll since this debate on the actual presidential preference, like for the general election vote? Hang on. Not who won the debates, just like a poll for who they want for president. Trump's been ahead. Oh. This is 538. Forbes. Oh, latest election 2024 polls 40 minutes ago. New York Times. Let's go. Oh, Trump's ahead by a point. God, it's so close, isn't it? What the fuck, man? And he's way ahead. Wait, what the fuck is this with Kennedy? Oh, with RFK. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. Wait, does that mean Biden's losing more voters to RFK than Trump is? Wait, no. No way. 5 points difference. 6 points different. It does. It does mean Biden's losing more people to RFK. Who the fuck? Bro, it's populist leftists. It's fucking Brianna Joygray fans. Oh my fucking God. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? Is he a fucking stalking horse? This guy. Ugh.
Any campaign, I don't think any campaign has ever taken.
It's not only that as well. Is it not still the case, Electoral College, that Biden needs to win by a lot in the popular vote to win properly in the Electoral College, right? He can't just win. He can't just win by 1 point in the popular vote. He needs to win by a lot. He needs to win by millions of votes. Oh, God.
Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you.
That's exciting.
President Biden, I'm
looking forward to it. Are you guys? That'll be a fun evening. We'll definitely stream it. Okay.
Be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3.
You can't deny that Trump is far more well-spoken in this debate. Thing is, I don't think anyone denies it. It's really funny that all the right-wingers are calling this like cope from the Democrats, even though like I haven't seen anyone trying to argue that Biden did well in this debate. I don't know. I've heard some people say he made better points or he was more factual, which is just true, but it's still like that's not the most important part of the debate. It's not even necessarily like, I don't know. I don't understand that. Doesn't make any sense. Even my lib grandma was upset. Yeah.
I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing.
Documented migrant.
By the way, he brought all
where that comes from? Fuck. Because you're still undocumented, right? But why did you do that? I thought okay.
A lot of people, well, the whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and then bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States, and guess what? Those fabs they call to build these chips. Those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country.
I know who wouldn't. Abu Mazen. Abu Mazen wouldn't switch places. Get him.
Country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and those who he coddles up to, from Jong Un, he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood. I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a
like
ball
into the fucking void.
50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago.
He's
Actually,
like a wraith. He's like a wraith in a human skin suit with some teeth attached to it.
I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced him. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds. Or
Wait, what?
Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look,
Wait, when did Trump actually ever say that he was 6'3"? In May 2012, his driver's license says he was 6'2". Right, hang on. We need to get to the truth of the matter. Even Biden's doubting himself, man. Because the way Trump talks, it's like, yeah, it sounds believable. Why not? Yeah, of course he would never say that. Of course he'd never say that he weighs less than he does and is taller than he is. Trump would never do that. No. I'm second guessing myself now. Let's see. The president's height was listed as 6'3" and his weight at 215. But based on some of his co-defendants, the numbers may not be accurate. Yeah, Trump's a fucking walking dump truck. I don't know. So apparently he's lost 30 pounds. Okay. He said in 2016 he was 6'3" and weighed 236 pounds. If you were 6'2", he'd be considered obese. Huh. Okay. That is very... How can someone... That's Michael Jordan's playing weight. I don't understand how someone can be in the public eye more than any other human being on the planet and lie about their height and weight. It's just... It's incredible.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf with you if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay, let's
not act like children.
President Trump,
oh, God.
21
Let's not act like children.
You
to
are
a
a child.
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right...
Oh, now Trump will say yes. Now there's a fuck ton. Now Trump knows that he actually has a good chance. Now we trust the integrity of the American electoral system. Now it's infallible. Let's see what he says.
now that political violence in any form is
Unless Biden performs better in the next 2 debates, in which case there's actually some serious issues with the American electoral system that need to be addressed immediately, and definitely won't be. So we can already expect a miscount.
acceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a
Wasn't this the same DOJ? I don't know the details of these criminal things, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but was this not the same DOJ that convicted Hunter Biden? It's not like, I don't even.
president, that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all, and required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done and what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia,
Here you go.
they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine.
I'm pretty sure Obama left Ukraine in a state of the failure of the Minsk Accords. Maybe I should look more into the details of what happened in Russia-Ukraine between 2015 and 2022. The fighting definitely died down from 2016 till 2022, but it's not like Russia went anywhere. Anyway, the Palestinian part, I didn't mention that, have they? They didn't talk about Palestine at all, really, unless I missed something. Didn't they yoink Crimea? No, Crimea was 2014. The civil war and the annexation of Crimea started in 2014, and then the fighting amped up, and then it had Minsk 1 and then Minsk 2, and then Minsk 2 kind of failed because Russia said that they couldn't even uphold their end of it because they didn't claim to be in the war. They literally just said that there were not Russian troops in the region, but there were. So that's why Minsk 2 just kind of failed. But I think after Minsk 2, there was at least a stalemate. But all that was happening, I think, in 2015-16 was that the kind of dividing line was just solidifying. Like the conflict had frozen. But let me think. I'm trying to look at this. I think one thing that Russia did kind of seize under Trump, that they seized kind of de facto control over, was the Kerch Strait, the bridge between Russia and Crimea. Because I think it was in 2018, when they attacked those fucking Ukrainian Navy vessels and started to consolidate their control over the sea. So Russia between 2016 and 2020 was consolidating their position in eastern Ukraine and in Crimea. They were doing that. So, Yonko Commander, thanks for the 199. Biden sounds fine at 2 times speed. Trump is unfixable. Okay.
Because Ukraine's
We're
not
almost at the end anyway.
winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were president.
Trump,
I wonder what he thinks the stupid decision was. Because again, Trump voters who always bring this argument to me is always just, Putin smelled weakness. Which again, like even if he did, he was wrong because Biden funded the fuck out of Ukraine in a way that the Trump wing of the Republican Party opposes. So how does that make any sense? It's just that American exceptionalism. Like you just think like really, if you just have a fucking tough enough psycho president in power, then that's going to be enough to influence the foreign policy decisions and imperial ambitions of foreign countries like Russia. It's so stupid.
The question was, will you accept?
But that's why he doesn't specify, right? Because he can always just say, "That wouldn't have happened under me." And he did very conveniently find himself in a position where these conflicts were quite frozen. Just why, even with Palestine, what was going on then was the March of Return, right? Even though, I mean, his recognition of Jerusalem, though, Trump, that sparked violence in the region. Pretty sure one of the goals of Hamas was to disrupt the Abraham Accords, which was a Trump thing.
The results of the election, regardless of who wins, yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather
That's subliminal for if I win.
accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that.
Oh yeah, he did also abandon the Kurds. I think a lot of people forget that.
Then I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Are there any debates scheduled? I don't know if they have a solid date, but typically there are 3 debates, right?
Well, let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner.
Uh-oh.
When you lost the first time,
Biden.
You continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one
confident?
single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right.
You're a whiner. Where's the Palestinian shit? Wait, where's that? All right, here. This
Thank
is
you.
them
Moving
talking
on
about
to the
Hamas.
Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages.
Stop watching highlights, for fuck's sake. No. I will not stop watching highlights. I'm going to watch highlights for the rest of this fucking day. Probably past midnight, into my birthday as well. I'm going to celebrate my birthday just to watch highlights, just for you, Stephen O. What do you want me to do? Why are you here?
Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining.
Your birthday's tomorrow. Yeah, my birthday's on the 29th, yeah. No big deal, you know, no big deal.
Hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire.
Okay.
Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas, number one. They're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened? In Israel, we're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people.
JDAM's mentioned. Oh, no. That's actually pretty good optically because Israel's now in the phase where they're going to be not using JDAMs anymore anyway, and Gaza or a lot less of them because they're apparently on the phase now of rooting out like smaller, more disconnected units, not like full battalions and massive infrastructure. So it's best of both worlds, isn't it? Israel slows down their shit, and then Biden gets to say we're stopping the JDAMs. Yeah, okay. Good move. That's clever. Okay.
We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world. And so they're two different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us.
Yeah.
The European nations together have spent 100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any, they were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting you got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
Oh, no. Oh, no. But I thought, yeah, they really didn't talk about it all that much, did they? He's turned into a Palestinian. I don't know. Oh, God. I really feel bad for Palestinians, like even in the West Bank, if Trump comes in, because last time Trump was in office, not only did he recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, he also tried to push forward a peace deal that would have included Palestinian Jerusalem being reduced to one neighborhood called Abu Dis, appropriately named, just having its name changed to Al-Quds. Massive shrinkage of territory. He also did actually freeze quite a lot of funding to Palestinians that Biden had to end up resuming. God, I wonder. I was talking to someone about it yesterday, and it's like, I wonder, like when I was in the West Bank, actually, I was quite surprised, I guess, to see that one of the questions we asked quite a few of the Palestinians, just like the regular people, was their opinions on the axis of resistance, on Iran, Hezbollah, Houthis. A lot of them, most of them, it seemed that spoke to us, were quite indifferent. Like they just don't care that much. They don't think like Iran is really that helpful to them, or Hezbollah or anything like that. But I do wonder, I feel like if Trump comes in and allows like that fucking and basically just gives Netanyahu everything he wants and appeases the fuck out of the Israeli right, then I feel like any hope that the Palestinians have right now that they might get something from America, because one thing that Palestinians did feel optimistic about, ironically, was student protesters. The people we spoke to, at least two of them, had much nicer things to say about campus protesters than they had to say about the axis of resistance. One of them actually thought the majority of campus protesters were Jewish. So you have this guy, like these like Palestinians in the West Bank, who have nicer things to say about Jewish campus protesters than they have to say about the axis of resistance. But I feel like that's probably going to turn around if Trump comes in, because and where are the Palestinians going to go after that? Yeah. Ukraine will just be fucked. I don't know. I think Trump is being very malicious about that. Trump is not going to help Ukraine any better than Biden has. And it's very likely he'll actually do a lot worse, because Trump clearly has a level of admiration for Putin. And how far he goes with that is really just a guess, I guess. You just don't know. Nachulo, thanks for the €5. How bad do you think Trump will be for Europe if he wins? I fear the worst. Maybe even Russia expanding the war outside Ukraine. Yeah, I don't know. Like Russia expanding the war, I feel like their troops are probably a little bit too fatigued to think about that right now. But I mean, Moldova would probably be a candidate, right? Because of Transnistria being connected to Ukraine. Don't know. Georgia, yeah, there's still Georgia. China after Taiwan. That one I'm not so sure about because Trump really, really hates the Chinese, isn't he? Trump is a big China hater.